Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nitya Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show. Happy Wednesday. This is episode 998. We are live on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, on all the podcast platforms. And fans, please tune in. You can ask questions on the Spreaker app. Today, we are joined by a really special guest. His name is Kerry Glenn. He's a former Minnesota NFL cornerback. He played for the New York Jets, Miami Dolphins. What a great career, man. And now he's doing big things off the field. So fans, please tune in on the Spreaker app. Ask questions to Kerry Glenn, a defensive back in the NFL in Minnesota. So first of all, Kerry, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. It's truly an honor. And how are you and your family doing today?
Good. It's right now. I got grandbabies. So my son is he's fine. Okay, and my sisters and brothers and everything, they're perfectly fine.
Well, yeah. So before we get into your career, let's start with this big trade. To let our fans know, what are your thoughts on this big trade? Tyreek Hill going to the Dolphins, and how ironic is it that your two former teams was battling it out to get Tyreek Hill?
Well, I think that. Going to Miami, it would be a great deal for him, and and one thing that, and I know a lot of the receivers are saying, "Oh man, why did they get this Tyreek Hill? You're getting Tyreek Hill, and I can, and I'm not going to be able to get the ball." No, that's not true, because you got to realize Tyreek Hill, he is a game changer. So you have someone like that. They are going to, pretty much try to double team. If he's killing everyone on one-on-one, team's going to try to double team him, and so that's where where the other receivers, they're going to have to step their game up and catch the ball and be successful.
Yeah. So well said there. It's going to be interesting how that pans out now. But for now, to you, this show is about you. So. Let our fans know, when did you get interested in playing football, and who do you say that you looked up? Who did you look up to in the game of football?
In the game, well, actually, I Pop Warner. It was funny. I used to play right before Pop Warner, I used to play like sandlot ball with my brothers and everything, and friends in the neighborhood, and my brother wasn't a very big person. My brother was he's like 5'6", but he was stocky, but he was always tough, and he was always running over everybody. So I wanted to be like him. And so, when it got to a point where, I want to play, Pop Warner ball, I was like, well, I like to run the ball. And so I ended up running the ball and I'm getting yardage. And I was a second string running back, but I was a first string linebacker. But I always had more yardage as a second string running back than the running back did. But I found out the reason why is because they needed someone who could tackle. And I was the one that could tackle, so that's why they had to put me a second string running back.
Wow!
And so I did that. Then I went to middle school, and I went to middle school to play. And my brother in middle school, he had this reputation of it's just like a cross country. Even though my brother was like 5'6", he had all the records at my middle school And so what ended up happening was that I tried out for football,
right?
And they wouldn't give me a uniform. they wouldn't give me a uniform. They gave everybody else a uniform. But they didn't know know much about me, and because I did Pop Warner ball like in another city, which is called Belleville, Illinois. I did it's the Little Knights in Belleville, Illinois, so I'm giving a shout out to them. that's why I played Pop Warner ball. And then so when I went down to East St. Louis to play at my middle school, they just wouldn't give me a uniform.
Wow.
So it pissed me off. So what I did, I made sure that when we did the wind sprints, I came in number one. And I said, okay, you don't want to give me a uniform? Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come in first place. I'm gonna make you give me a uniform.
Wow.
So I kept, every evening I kept, and one of the coaches came up to me, he says, you come in first every time. I said, yeah, I need a uniform. And he said, I tell you what, next guy that quit because he can't run,
wow,
you got his uniform. So next day, boom, guy quit. I had his uniform. So at that time, they was hitting and all this stuff, and I was just on the sidelines before. I was just on the sideline, just sitting there, and when they was practicing. Wow. So I get the uniform. I put the uniform on. He's, and they ran this one. I never forget this play. Then I was like a buck 50. So what ended up happening was that they had this tight end and they ran him on a crosser, and he was like 6'2", like 230, and I just went up and just pow, just killed him, and the coach is like, they started yelling, that's what we need on the defense, and then they say, do it again, and I'm going like, they gotta run him in the same route. I'm gonna do the same thing, so I did it again. And so they tried me there, so they made me the starting cornerback. And then they was having a problem with the running back. And I said, I played running back up in for the little Knights. And they say, you can run the ball? I said, yes, sir. And so they put me a running back. I broke all the records at the middle school at running back, and one game I had it was like 450 yards rushing in one game.
Wow.
So they took me out like third quarter. So I didn't finish the game. And then, then I went to East St. Louis Senior High School. We were in 78. We were we should have been number one in the nation. Was number one, and we were number two in the country. We never played Moeller. And we didn't lose a game. They didn't lose a game. But what we did, our defense was good. And we only had like 3 teams score on us. And my coach Bob Shannon, he was like, why don't we play Moeller? And he said, I'll pay for it. I pay for it, and because how you gonna pick them as being number one in the country? They haven't even played us. They haven't played us, and we had a good quarterback, and I was a running back at that time, and yeah, we never got around to doing it. So what ended up happening, I played ball there my senior year. I went both ways. With my senior year, I never left the football field. My senior year, I was a punter. I played defense. I played offense. Yeah. I ran down on the kickoff, and I ran and I punted the ball.
Wow!
So I literally never left the field when I played football, and also I ran track.
Wow, man!
Yeah, I ran track. Yeah, I did a lot of things. I was a 2-sport guy when I was in high school. When I was in middle school, I did 3 sports. I did basketball, football, and track. Wow. Well, I'm gonna give you a name that you may know this person. I don't know if you know her, but we used to play basketball together, and her name was Jackie Joyner Kersey.
No. No.
You didn't know who she is?
No.
Look it up. Well, Jackie Joyner, she won the heptathlon in the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
And yes, we went to school. We went to well, she went to East St. Louis, Lincoln. I went to East St. Louis, but like during the summertime, we all used to play basketball, and she went to UCLA on a basketball scholarship.
Wow.
She was good in track, but she went there in basketball. Then she ended up, winning a gold medal in the Olympics. Wow. And her brother, back then he won the gold medal in the triple jump. Yeah. So I did all that, and I did high school. I high jumped 6'11". That's my highest that I've high jumped 6'11", and it was funny, I'm 5'9", and people that they didn't know that I could jump. I could dunk. Back then I used to be able to dunk a basketball and all that. So, and then I ended up getting. I went to the University of Minnesota, and and I went there. I ended up getting drafted in the 10th round. I was disappointed of that, but it wasn't, the way I look at it is that, I leave it in God's hands, and that's the way it go. And at that point in time, what ended up happening was that the funniest thing is that they didn't know, they picked me late. I was a late pick, but what ended up happening was that I ended up starting. I ended up starting when I was with the Jets. And now, and you're saying one of the guys that influenced me throughout this whole thing, it was Bud Carson.
Okay.
I'm sure you know who that is, Steel Curtain.
Yeah.
Bud Carson, that was he was my mentor. He was my mentor. He used to ride me. and it was like, I make a little mistake, get off the field, rookie. and he let me know that I was a rookie, He kicked me off the field plenty of time. It's, so what ended up happening is that I ended up getting a good contract. Because my agent's like, and I told my agent, I said, look, I heard about that, and so we negotiated. So I got, my money was good. And so one of the weirdest things happened. So I stayed out, I held out a camp to get more money, and I got more money. And then at that time, this is really funny. The guy that was the president of the organization, I went in to sign a contract. He goes, well, I don't know why you held out. You're not going to make the team. Again, when this started when I was younger, as you know, and my whole deal is that, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, screw you. But I didn't say screw you. I used the other word. Yeah. And I'm like, and then I said, I'm gonna make this team. I say, you just be prepared to get my money when I get it, when I make this team. so I say, so we had our exchange. I signed the contract, and then I'm walking home. I'm coming back from lunch, and this is like 1 week later. I'm coming back from lunch, and Bud say, actually, Brigitte Nielsen almost hit me and Bud Carson coming through there because she was dating Mark Gastineau at the time. And so what happened was that she comes through, and then Bud, we talked about it. And goes, hey, Kerry, won't you go to your locker? Won't you go into the locker room and get your playbook? And they say, and you know what they say, when they ask you for your playbook, you're getting ready to get cut. And I'm going like, and first thing went to my mind, I'm like, oh man, what the hell? Man, I just got here. And then I was like, that's all right. No, they can cut me. They can cut me. I know they ain't got nobody better than me anyway. They can cut me. I'll go somewhere else. And so I go to my locker, I get my playbook, and I'm sitting, and I go to his office. And so we go in there, and then he just, and I sit the playbook down. He said, hey, let's not deal with that for right now. Okay. He said, here, look at this. Look, he said, see this guy right here playing? That's what I want you to do in practice today. Okay. And then I'm saying to myself, is he gonna cut me? What the hell's going on? Then he goes, oh, you thought I was gonna cut you, didn't you? And I say, bud, yeah, you said, that's why I'm like, got this look on my face. And he said, no, I'm not gonna cut you. I said, no. He said, I want you to do man technique, outside technique all day. He said, you mess up, I'm gonna throw you off the field like I normally do, but that's what you're gonna do all day. You are the only person on the field doing it, and you better do it. When I say I want you to man coverage, you better go man coverage, outside technique. Nobody else is going to be doing that for you today. And then I'm like, shit, I made this team. And so and then he goes, here, look at this guy right here, and it was Lester Hayes. Remember Lester Hayes from the Raiders? Yeah, he said, but you can't put that stick on like his. I ain't doing that. Putting that stick on. So that's what happened. I made the team, and it was great.
Wow, that's a great story right there. And we have a question already from one of our fans. They want to know what made you choose to change the position to running back to defensive back.
Well, that's a very good question. I didn't do that. Well, actually, this is what happened. When I went to college, I kind of left out something, and I'm glad that's a very good question. Yeah. What happened? This is what happened. Everybody was saying, well, my senior year, they had me at running back. And they was trying to get when they tried to get the running game going, they put me back there, but then the other guys couldn't do it, so they didn't have the skills that I had to it. And my coach was like, with your size, you're going to most likely be a receiver. So they had me at receiver as well, my senior year. And then what ended up happening was that University of Minnesota drafted me as a receiver. So that's what I came in the college as a receiver. And then what ended up happening was that at the University of Minnesota, all the DBs was getting hurt. They were getting hurt. And one of the coaches was the coaches had a meeting, and it was like, well, who can we move to DB? And then the coach said, he's like, oh, Kerry Glenn, he played all these positions. This guy's played. They say, well, this is what we're going to do. Then so I come back from like training camp at the University of Minnesota my freshman year, and the receiver coach told me, say, you're not with us anymore. You got to go on the defense. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we need defensive backs, somebody that can play, and you played all the thing. He said, I want you to know. I didn't want you to go, be a defensive back. I want you to stay a receiver. And I felt that this was a good thing for you to do.
Yeah.
And so that's what ended up happening. They switched me to defensive back, and then I went on and I did some crazy things when I was at the University of Minnesota at defensive back. But they had me playing linebacker one time.
Wow.
It was playing Northwestern. I'm like $160 at that time. I played linebacker, and it was, but they thought I was kind of crazy, Northwestern, because I kept saying I'm Dick Buckles. And then the other guy, Pete Nigerian, I don't know if you know who Pete Nigerian is. You probably see him on the MSG thing, the stock thing.
Yeah.
Yes, he's the guy that's on that. We played together. And and I'm like, I'm a big Buckers. And he was like, I just say anything. And that was one of the things throughout my career. I would say like crazy stuff, and people would just follow along with me, but they didn't know what the hell was going on when I was saying it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, obviously Minnesota is a great program, great college football program, great basketball program too. So what do you like about Minnesota and playing in front of those fans? And describe some of your best moments to our fans about Minnesota.
Minnesota, I tell you, it was my experience there was good. What took me to Minnesota, I narrowed it down to the University of Minnesota. Minnesota was head and shoulders over Arkansas. At the time, Lou Holtz was the coach there. I'm gonna tell you something, and you may want to contact Lou Holtz on this, right? Yeah. He won't tell you the truth on this. He will not tell you the truth. Well, what ended up happening was that Lou Holtz was there, and my senior year, I had a good senior year. I mean, my thing was known for they had me down for tackling, the back position, which I didn't. But I end up, but people, they always saw my film and he was like, well, he can play this position. But now you remember I said I got drafted 10th round in the draft, 262nd player taken. See, is that right? And the reason why I went in the 10th round, I predicted to go late first round, early second round. That's where I was predicted to go. And my agent kept telling me, you're slipping. I'm like, why am I slipping? I said, you better find out why I'm slipping. I said, I haven't done anything. I've done all the drills and everything. And, the combine, I went to the combine and I did that. And I was the only one that went to the combine. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. You need to figure this out. So I didn't figure this out until I was 3 years into the NFL. And what ended, one of the coaches, Pete Carroll, was there at the Jets too. One of the coaches came up to me and he was like, Kerry, I don't know if you remember me. I said, you look familiar, but I'm not quite sure. And you had it, in '85. I'm like, oh, okay. He said, and then this is when this struck me. I was like, I couldn't believe what came out of his mouth at that point. He goes, do you know that Lou Holtz was telling everybody you wasn't the guy to pick? And I was like, what? He said, yeah. He said, Lou Holtz was telling, he said he was telling all the scouts to come in to look at you that you weren't the guy to look at. And he said he had this other guy, Andre Harris. And he said, look, you've been in the NFL for 3 years. This guy that he was recommended to everybody haven't played one down in the NFL. And I was like, oh, Lou Holtz did that, huh? Okay, but now I'm going to take you back to high school. You remember my two schools that I wanted to? Yeah. It was the University of Arkansas and University of Minnesota. And who was the coach at the University of Arkansas at that time? Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz. He held that grudge ever since. He held that grudge because I was his number one pick in the country. And I was his number one pick in the country. Wow. And he was pissed because I didn't go to the University of Arkansas, and he came at me that way. Could you believe that? I know you don't know what to say. You're like, wow. Yeah. But the one thing about it, he didn't stop me, and because I have the attitude as, no, if you want to stop me, okay. Only person that could stop me is me.
Yeah.
And I worked really hard. I had reconstruction done on my knee. Most devastating thing that happened to me, and it was the most painful thing that I ever had to go through, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And yeah, I mean, it's in my whole philosophy was, there's only one person that could stop me, and that's God. And I have to be up there with God in order for him to stop me. And another thing, and for myself, I mean, I could not let myself fail. I mean, I was getting up in the morning. I mean, they say, well, where do you want to go do your rehab? They say, you know, they're going to set it up with the guys at the University of Minnesota or the Minnesota Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, no, Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And so at the time, I don't know if you know the trainer for the Houston Rockets. He was at the University of Minnesota at that time, and he took me through it. I mean, boy, he put tears in my eyes. Wow. And he made me. I mean, he made me. I mean, it was that was terrible. It was just really. I mean, that's the only word I can just say for it. It's just a terrible experience to go through, but. The only reason I did that because I'm not going to let other people, you know, shut me down. I'm not going to let Lou Holt shut me down, and I'm not going to let some type of injury, you know, shut me down. And I fought for it, and it paid off.
Wow. So one of our other fans wants to know, so they want to know how important is it to be versatile player now, obviously playing multiple positions, and obviously coaches and teams love versatile players now. So one of our fans want to know, while you were playing, how big of an impact that was for you just to play multiple positions.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was really good because because for me. Bud taught me a lot of things. I mean, Bud he taught me how to play linebacker. You know, I mean, when I got at linebacker position, and Bud he just tell me, you gotta beat him to the hole. When they pull somebody, beat that person to the hole. But there was a weakness on me. But the deal is that people didn't know the weakness on me. Only thing they had to do is just take the tight end and just run him on a quick slant on the running down, and they had me. But people kept trying to run, get the guard to pull and trap me. There's a secret to the trap. The trap is beat the guy to the trap. If you beat him before he can turn up, I got him. You know, and that's what Bud taught me, and Bud taught me, you know, as far as seconds. It's not, you know, and people gotta realize this, you know. I mean, a route when the receivers are running a route, most receivers are running a route. A route is 4 seconds that they have route. But then once the quarterback starts scrambling, that's another story. But you know, when they run a true route, you're looking at 3 to 4 seconds.
Wow, that's interesting. So we have another fan question. They want to know, what was your nickname throughout your career? Yeah, our fans, they come up with some interesting questions for the guests.
Let's see. At the New York Jets, they used to call me Weasel, and Bobby Jackson, he took, and he was helping me out, and they called me Weasel because they said he's so quick, he moves like a weasel.
Yeah.
And that was my nickname. You know, a lot of the guys, Gaston and all those guys in Clecco, they used to call me Wheeze.
Yeah. So speaking of obviously in my I like to watch tape whenever we have like guests, former athletes on the show, and from the past. I like to watch tape on them, and I watched tape on you before. You, to be honest, you're like the underrated defensive back in my opinion. Play the game, and some people forget about you, but we don't forget about athletes. And for you, obviously, you work your ass off every day, continue to work hard with the trainers you just mentioned. And what's it like just to have people behind your back from day one, to able to push you throughout your career and get to where you wanted to be, which was the NFL, play with two great franchises. So how important is to have, how great for you to have that support system from day one?
It's very important. I mean, I can't say that it wouldn't be. You know, a lot of people, you know, a lot of people, they see me play, and when I came, I really, you know, became more successful when I got down to Miami, because when I came down to Miami, Mike Westhoff, he took me in under his wing, and that's when I became the special teams, you know, and they were, he took me under his wing, and we were and I would go in every Tuesday. I never forget this. We were going there. I go in every Tuesday morning, and Mike Westhoff and I would do the game plan, and because special teams, that was my specialty. And I did some things that nobody would ever, they have no clue what I did unless you was specifically honed in on me and you watched it on film. I did some crazy stuff. I mean, really crazy stuff. You know, ragdolling like 206'9", 290-pound guys. I ragdoll them. And Marcus Allen used to hate when I used to blitz, because I used to headbutt him, you know, and he used to hate that. I'd like to get right into his face, you know, and he would hate that. He's like, "Will you stop that?" You know, like, come on, man, I'm playing my game. But no, it just the one thing about the thing that I like about what happens is that, you know, once I figured out my niche. See, a lot of these young players now, you got to figure out your niche in the game. You know, back then it was me and Steve Tasker. I mean, we were honestly the two best special teamers in the league. And now I know there's other guys that did, but they didn't do what we did, nor what I did. You know, I was more strength. He was a little bit more speedy, but you know, and he was, but it all matched in together, and we all achieved the goal that we wanted to achieve, is to make the tackle. And that's it.
Yeah. So speaking of Marcus Allen, actually we had I'm sure you know him. We had Tony Richardson on the show last week, the former Jet. He played with Marcus Allen when he was in Kansas City, and man, Marcus Allen, a great running back. So for you, what was it like going against while you were in NFL? What was it like going against some of these top level running backs throughout your career?
Oh man, it was crazy. One of the running backs I remember, well, Christian Okoye.
Yeah,
I remember him. You know, I was like, oh man, I was saying to myself, I was like, man, I hope I don't have to hit this guy. Oh gosh, I just don't want to do it. And then and I remember one time we were playing the Cleveland Browns. Mm-hmm. You remember Kevin Mack? Yeah. He had a Mack truck, and we play him in New York, and so what happened? It was just the only thing I saw a big hole open up, and there's nobody in that hole but Kevin Mack. Wow. And me. Nobody in that hole but Kevin Mack and me. Kevin Mack comes through the hole untouched. I hit him, go down, and my head's ringing. We get in the huddle, and I would. There was a whole bunch of bleepity bleeps, and I said, guys, I'm the secondary. You are the first person to touch it. Put a hand on him. Don't let him run through that hole, and don't put it. And I'm like in Joe Klecko's face, right? And so and I'm in his face, and he said, Kerry, and I think he's getting ready to grab me and because he used to grab me all the time. I think he's gonna grab me like it was because I'm saying what I said to him, and it was to him, and he said, Kerry. And I'm wiping my head, I'm wiping my head, and I'm not looking at anything because the sweat's coming down my eyes, and he said, Kerry, dude, you need to go to the sidelines. I said, why? That's blood. When I look down, there's blood all on my stuff. So I, I go to the sideline, and they put the little Band-Aids on there, and they got it all fixed up. And Bud asked me, say, why were you over there in Joe Klecko's face? I said, I told him, I said, because of this right here. I said, I told him he's the first person to touch Kevin Mack. He shouldn't be coming to that hole with nobody touching him. I said, only thing I asked for is to touch the guy, to slow the guy down. I said, look at me. That's why I got stitches in my head. I said, I got stitches in my head because of that. And he was like, okay, get back in the game.
Wow. Yeah, so obviously you spent your career with two teams, with the Jets and Dolphins, and obviously you got drafted around 10. And what was it like being with two teams in the same division, and obviously both teams go at each other pretty much every year in the same in all games. But for you, what was it like being part of both teams, both rivalries, and in the same division?
It's good. It was really good. One of the things I like about it, and we beat when I was with Miami, we beat the Jets. Yeah. We beat the Jets in Miami, and one time they had the ball like on a 10-yard line. Is a 10-yard line, and they had a chance to go in and score. Now, you got it's just like playing poker. You did, and I don't want that card. No, I don't want that. And you're trying to figure out what the other man got or whatever. But they was like stupid because I knew what they was gonna do. It was the last play of the game, and Pete Carroll was with them, and first thing he did, he walked over to me. He's like, you knew that play was coming. I said, hell yeah, I knew you guys were gonna try to run it down double reverse on me. So they tried to run a double reverse on me. I stopped at the center and just went back to the position, made the tackle 2 yards short of the line. It's game's over. And Pete Carroll was like, you played a big difference in the last game and this game. I said, yeah. I know you guys gonna try to go at me. I said, what the hell? I said, you guys are stupid for trying to go at me. You should have went somewhere else. Pete Carroll was like, I can't argue with you on that one.
Wow. Yeah. So speaking of, obviously, we have another fan question for you. They want to know, how tough was it for you waiting with your family, waiting till round 10 to get drafted? How tough was that? They want to know.
No, it was absolutely. It was just like it was just bad. It wasn't very good, And I thought I was going to go first round. And I had a party. I had a party set up, and what ended up happening was that there was about like 5 or 6 teams that had people at my party that said, if you don't get drafted, we want to draft you. But then I'm looking at them. I'm like, well, shit, you should have drafted me now. Draft me in the first round. Don't sit up there and say you want to get me for cheap. Draft me in the first round. So, but yeah, but like I said, for me, it was perfectly fine because at the end of the day, I was the one who had to try to, show the coaches that I'm worth every penny that they're spending on me.
Hey, you proved everybody wrong, man. You had a great career, in my opinion. And for you though, obviously I want to get to the Jets, but I want to ask you about the Dolphins. You got to play with Dan Marino, the original Mark Clayton, great receiver. You played with I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you get to play with OJ McDuffie in Miami?
No.
No. Okay.
No, yeah, he came in right when I retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OJ McDuffie came in. Yeah.
So you guys play with Dan Marino, obviously a Hall of Fame quarterback. Mark Clayton, obviously Richmond Webb, a great offensive lineman. So what was it like? So he's coming on the show tomorrow. So
Richmond?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna tell you this story about him. Okay. I was he was a rookie when he came in. I mean, and we used to do things to rookies and all that, just certain things to rookies, and Richmond, the team, after we went through a cut and everything, we had a team and everything, and I walked in the locker room and said, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" He looked at me like I had like 6 heads. He looked at me like, he said, you never speak to me. I said, yeah, I know. I didn't want to speak to you. You didn't make the team yet. And I said, you didn't make the team, but yeah, I'll speak to you now. Sometimes I used to torture some of the rookies. They did the same thing for me. I used to torture some of the rookies, but no, it was fun. Richmond, I tell you something right now. I know there's a lot of guys out there, that people. I have my favorite people, and I tell you, you give me an offensive lineman, a tackle. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take Richmond Webb. Yes, right now and listen, he's my all-time favorite. I mean, that's just. I mean, I don't know why. Well, I know why, because I've seen him play, and he protected Dan from behind, and guys tried to do things on him, and Richmond Webb was he was just a hell of a player. Yeah. And then you look at Dan Marino. I mean, Dan, I remember, I should have had 2 picks my last game with the Jets. I should have had 2 picks against Dan, but I didn't. But one thing I can tell you, I was instrumental in. Dan don't know this, but I was instrumental when Mac got 3 picks. he picked Dan 3 picks in one game. And because we knew exactly where it's going, and Bud Carson was telling me, listen, you go tell that damn rookie, how to play this. Because like the other safety we had, Harry Hamilton, they had this, we'd get into this in certain down and distance, and they'd do this little pop pass down, to the tight end. And Harry, he just wouldn't jump it. He just wouldn't jump it. And Bud was like, jump it. And then Bud said, no, I'm leaving this up to you. Bud used to make me go talk to these players. And I would, I go talk to him. I said, E-Mac, just jump. I said, listen, Harry Hamilton haven't been doing a good job at it. I want you, when we call this play, you jump it. Jump it. Don't even worry about it. Because Dan gonna throw the ball right there. And you're gonna take it. And then E-Mac did it. He was like, oh, he said, yeah. Thank you for the advice. I said, it wasn't me, it was Bud. Bud's riding me for you. So yeah, it's I like players like that. And plus like a Dan Marino. Yeah. Dan Marino don't have all the rings. But I tell you something, man, I take him. And I got this thing about hanging around like linemen. Like offensive linemen, when I was in New York, I had a Reggie McElroy. He used to, and I was a rookie and I'm tired. I come home and he goes, Kerry, we're going out tonight. And I'm like, well, I'm going home. He said, no, you're going out. And I sit there, and he just knock, 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 and I'm like, oh shit. If I don't open the door, they would literally break the door and pay for it and drag me out of the house. And so I'll just go out with them and hang out. And I'm with these linemen, and all of a sudden we was going to this place. They go, no, you gotta hold up. And the guy said, do you know who that is? He said, they knew me by name, but they didn't expect me to be with all these linemen. And so he said, that's Kerry Glenn. Oh, you the one that, oh yeah, okay, how you doing? He said, he goes like, yeah, he said, he's with us. I said, oh no, I'm sorry, Mr. Lincoln. go ahead. Yeah, it was fun. I my career, I can honestly say I had a lot of fun, and I did a lot of crazy things on the field.
Man, Kerry, man, you have some awesome stories, and the fans are loving it right now. So one of our fans want to know, what does the number 35 mean to you?
Well, me actually, that was the first number that they gave me. It wasn't a number that I really wanted, but once I got into it, I was going to keep it. I said, I hope nobody would, when I went to Miami, I hope nobody had number 35, and luckily no one did, and I got it again. So I love it.
Yeah. So I got to ask you, what was it like going against Mark Twain in practices?
Well, first of all, I went against him in games. I went against him in games because with the Jets and everything. It was fun. I mean, those guys. I mean, it's like you can't get no better than that. You're looking at and these are real good. I'm real good friends with both. Well, all three of them, Dan and Duper and Clayton. I'm real good friends with them. And it was great. I mean, you're gonna get the best if you want someone to work you. Those guys will work you, and we were working in practice. We always get up there. We're gonna put our hands on them because that's what other back then that's what a lot of other people was doing. So let me turn this off here.
I like that.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, so it's just one. I had a lot of fun practicing against those guys and playing against them. It was really nice.
Yeah. So for you, the Jets, we like to ask this question. So tell some of your fans what was some of your best moments as a Jet and a Dolphin.
As a Jet and a Dolphin, okay. As a Jet. I used to love playing against Miami, and I don't know, and the reason why. I guess the reason why is because they had two of the best wide receivers in the game, and that's why I used to like playing against Miami. And I didn't, I can tell you parts. You can see a picture. I'm looking at a picture right now, like in my place here, and I'm in a linebacker position. And the reason why I'm in the linebacker position is because I knew the play that they was going to run. And I mean, it's like, I'm watching film and I knew the play. And instead of me being wide on the wide receiver, I took the linebacker and I said, go out there. You be on the running back. You go to the running back. Because what they was doing, they wanted to get Clayton in the backfield and run like a little in route, run out and then just come in, and the linebacker couldn't cover that. And Bud always tell me, he said you're in man coverage, you know what to do. Put DB on receiver, linebacker on running back. That's it. Just don't switch it. And so that's what I did. And Dan completed that pass. I was going for the pick. Dan threw the ball behind me. And Clayton had to come back, turn around, and get the ball. And so So I mean, and that was just another superb throw. But then after that, I got a pick later. I got a pick later because they were in like it was like third and 15. And they had this thing where they ran Clayton on the end route. So he ran the end route, and I ran with him, and I picked up the ball. And then he's on me like, he tackled me, right? And then while he's down there, he's like, "What the fuck?" He said, "What did Dan throw the ball? You ran my route." and the referee thought that we was like, fighting, but we weren't. We just talking on the ground, But that was one of the great moments right there. And I'm looking at another picture here. It's a pick six. It was a pick six against Bernie Kosar.
Oh wow!
Now this is what happened here. There's a story behind this. Okay, in '89, it's not on record, but I went to the Cleveland Browns. Bud Carson went to the Cleveland Browns as the head coach. Okay. But he called me up and they said, "Hey, you want to come to Cleveland with me? And you got to teach these boys and stuff." I'm like, "Okay, give me some money." so went to Cleveland, and they was like, "Well, we eyes and all this." Bud was like, "This is the guy right here." He said, "No, because Hanford Dixon, they wasn't putting their hands on him. And him and Minifield, Bud like somebody, put your hands on the receiver. That's his defense." So what ended up happening is that got down to the last day, they cut me. So they come and say, "No, it's not a problem." So they cut me. By the time I got home, the Jets are called. The Jets said, "Hey, we want to sign him." Okay, boom. I go home, and then boom. Next day, I'm on a plane going to New York.
Wow.
Okay, I go to New York. Okay, so the Cleveland Browns cut me. So 1990, I signed with Miami Dolphins. Right. Guess who's on the roster? It was on the roster. Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns are on the roster. Nice. And so Bernie Kosar, I've never had a pick six. So we playing, boom, boom, bam. I'm having a good game. And plus I ended up getting the game ball. And so I was faking the blitz, and I came out of the blitz, came back, picked the ball, ran it for a touchdown. And every time Bernie this is funny. Every time Bernie Kosar see me, he goes, "You." I say, "Bernie, man," I said, "Dude, I love you." I say, "I love you more than your wife." I say, "So, you don't have to be bitter about this." He said, "Man, you stopped me from." He said, "You're the only one that got a pick six on me." I'm like, "Well, thank you."
Hey, let's see that picture real quick.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. Oh wow.
That's me dancing in the end zone. Yeah, that's Bernie. He's a great guy. That was me. That was me dancing in.
What a great player too, by the way.
Yeah, Bernie Kosar. He's a great player. I mean, he's been around for a while, and he put in his years. Yeah, and it's I see him every once in a while. I see him every once in a while, but it's it's nice seeing him. Yeah, all these players are it's nice seeing like older players, and you're talking to them, and then you look at the game from what it is today, and then how it's kind of like it's not as good as it is. Could be.
Yeah, so we have another fan question for you. They want to know, what was your hype music throughout your career?
My what?
Hype music before that. They want to know. They want to know what music did you listen to before a game?
For a game. Oh, let's see here. I used to listen. I used to, back in the day, we had, rap was just starting, and I was in New York at the time, so I went with a lot of the artists in like New York, like LL.
Yeah, there you go.
You had Queen Latifah.
Yeah, Queen Latifah.
Yeah. And I was dealing with, and every once in a while we run out, I used to run out in New York, and we used to, see them in the club, back in the day. My biggest thing when the only person I was starstruck with I mean, I've seen, the guys, I go there. Oh, and Rick James too. Oh. Rick James. And it was like, I'm in New York, and I'm in a China club, I used to go to China. We used to go to China club every like Monday night, because Tuesdays are day off. And I got a limo. And see, these guys nowadays, they don't understand. I'm saying, if you got a lot of guys going to the same place, get a limo. So what I did, I had a deal with the limo guy. I said, hey, I'm gonna give you tickets. And he give me tickets. He say, here's your driver, just tip him. Okay, boom. I get like, 6-7 guys. He's gonna make about $1,000 at night, and he's only doing a pickup. He's doing just a pickup. And so he's probably like 1,500 or something, whatever. But we was giving him a lot of money. And these guys don't understand. Do out there, get limos to come pick you up, and now they got the Uber and all that stuff. You don't have to drink and drive. And back in the day, I wasn't doing it. I just taking a limo, and I just get all the boys together. Hey, come on, pitch in, let's go. And we got a limo, and we get there. The guy come over, put his arm, bounce, come over, put his arm around, get me through the crowd, go in. And then the one person in there it was Eileen Ford, because I just seeing all these little young girls running around in there, and I'm like, and it was like moms, and I'm going like, why these people just running around, and this lady just sitting over, just cool, calm, and collected. And you remember downtown Julie Brown? I'm going way back. In downtown Julie Brown, she was there because I'm friends with her, and she. She wanted to date one of the ball players, and I was just trying to get them together. That's pretty much it. And so yeah, I mean, and then I was there, and then I said, well, that lady over there sent her a drink on me, and and it was Eileen Ford from Ford Modeling Agency. I was like, ooh, and I told her, I went over to her, I say, I just want you to know, I'm starstruck on this. I say, there's a whole bunch of people now. It used to come in, and Tyson used to come in there. Who else? Name all the boxers used to come in there, and Eddie Murphy, all them people used to just come in there, and out of all the people, it was her. It was Eileen Ford. I was like, gosh, I don't know what to say to her. I don't know what to say to her.
Wow, that's she's beautiful, that woman.
Yeah. Eileen Ford is it's interesting, I was just totally starstruck, and now with the NFL, I was starstruck with what's his name, Walter Payton. Yeah. We played them in '85. Wow. We played them in '85, and I had a good game. We lost, but rookie, I can get somebody else. I'm like, but don't even go. Don't even go that way. Come on, you know me. I got Willie Gault the whole way. I had him, but he only had 56 yards receiving. I shut him down. That was it. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple more things here before we let you go, and I'm sure. Well, I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fan, so I got to ask you this: what was it like going against the Dallas Cowboys when you were with the Dolphins?
Okay, I didn't go. I didn't play. They played them after.
Yeah. Okay.
They played them after I retired.
Yeah.
But no, it's let's see here. I think I'm trying to remember. Did we play them? I can't remember if when we. No, I don't remember anything that's playing because at that time, because they go with the leads, they switching it up and different things. One of the things that I liked here was Al Davis. Al Davis, I tell you, he's a really nice man. He liked to talk a lot of shit, but he was. I mean, if people really knew how he was, Al Davis, his fun. He used to just come up with some crazy shit. I mean, he would go on. I mean, if you would look at Al Davis, you go back and you look. I mean, Al Davis would be on the field when the players are on the field.
Wow.
He's an owner. He needs to have his butt up in the player box. So, I don't know. This thing, well, we had this thing where we would. I mean, that's why we had the best double vice on the punt team in the league, and everybody wanted to be like me and Louis Oliver. We started off doing this like when Al Davis was the one who made us start doing this because we was practicing. We was in Japan and we was practicing against the Raiders and everything. Marcus Allen and all them. And so what ended up happening was that Al Davis, he was like, oh, run over that little. But one thing he didn't realize is that I was small in stature, but I was stronger than Lewis. And I was stronger than that guy he wanted me to go against too. so what ended up happening, I took the guy and I threw him over the Gatorade.
Oh my God.
And Al Davis was like, oh, no, it's over. and then Coach Shula chimed in on this. He was like, because he's sitting there listening to Al Davis talk about me. And Shula, he really didn't like it. so he just came back at Al. Like, he said, and I was like, no, we're done. He's like, oh, we're done. And Coach Shula said, oh no, Al, no. The little guy want to keep playing. He said, Kerry, do you still want to play? I said, yeah. I said, I think this is fun. I keep throwing him over the Gatorade table. No, we ain't gonna do this. We ain't gonna do this. We ain't gonna do it. Al Davis like, no, we ain't gonna do this. And Coach was like, no, Al, come on. The little guy the little guy want to play. Come on, And then, but then what happened? I ended up, taking the guy and threw him out of bounds, and one of the one of the photographers cut his eye. And then, and so that same season, they came to Miami. So we doing pat and go. Pat and go is like when all the receivers and DBs was loosening the quarterbacks, they just catching the ball and stuff like that. And we're down there, and I'm going on the pat and go, and it's like I hear some, you're gonna get burnt. I don't know why you're out here on the field. Just shouting shit like that out. And I'm not paying no attention. Then I come back around. Oh, you hear me talking to you, Glenn? You hear me talking to you? And I go down and come back in again. And he goes, you better stop and know me. At this time, he's on the field. I done pissed him off. He's on the field at me. And so I'm like, dude, shouldn't you be somewhere like up in the box up there with the other, and the referee coming over? I say, you need to take him off the field. He's badgering me. And I say, he's an owner. And then I snatched the flag out of the referee's pocket. I threw it down at his feet, and I go, flag is on you. Put him up in the owner's box. And the referee is laughing. He's laughing. He said, well, you two, you say, I said, no, I'm sitting here do we do him bad and go, he's out here on the field. Look at it. He's on the field. He's not on the sideline. He's on the field and he's badgering me. He came all the way out here just to badger me. And the referee says, laugh. He say, and I pick up the yellow flag. I say, hey, I just flagged him. So will you please tell him to go to the owner's box with the rest of the people? And we out there arguing. He say, well, Glenn, I don't care whatever you say, you're going to get burnt tonight. I'm like, I said, you know what? I said, that's why I like you. And then he started laughing.
Yeah, so yeah, that's funny. So before we get to the last two things, who is your favorite defensive back to watch right now?
Who is my favorite? Let's see here. What's the guy from Kansas City? He just got the older guy. He just got cut the other day. 35. What's his name?
35.
Yeah. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs, for the Chiefs.
Oh.
What's his name? I forget his name. But yeah, I like his game because he's a small safety.
Is it Ward? No, right? No,
the other guy. Yeah, I mean he's
Tyrann Matthew. No, that's not
that's him. That's who it is. Matthews, yes. I mean I like him. I mean he's a nice safety, and I like his game. And there's other guys that game I like as well. But I like the DBs. I mean, you get up in a bump position, you get in a bump position, and make sure you disrupt his the receiver. Mm-hmm. A lot of these guys, they're just like, they're not disrupting the receivers. So that's the only thing. I just wish that if they're gonna teach them right. Just teach it. Put your hands on them. If they can take a second off that. And that's why I say the game is made in seconds. Yeah. If you can take a second or 2 seconds off a receiver, I mean, you got rushers.
Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, I can't hear you. The audio cut out. Yeah. Oh,
okay. Now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could become a good coach one day down the line if you decide to coach, Kerry. I think you could be a good defensive backs coach somewhere.
Well, but I like special teams a lot better. Yeah, special teams is something, because there's a lot of different things that a lot of these guys don't know, and since you're not a first stringer, you can impact the game big time just by being special teams and just by knowing what to do, and every down and distance count. Because I used to have a little trick. I can't show people this, but I had this little trick where I would, because Duper, which is my roommate, when we go on the road, he tried doing it to me a couple. And so what I did, I put it in my perspective when I get in, if we had like a 3rd and 4, I could do this, but we have 3rd and 5, I couldn't do it. Well, I couldn't do a certain thing that I want to show people, but I can't. And because they may be using it the wrong time, but you got to be in the game. You got to know what the down and distance is. If you, like I say, and if you like 4 and lower, it'll be real easy to do, and you do it, and next thing you know, the referee will see someone holding you, but he's not holding you, you holding him. it's I know I can explain to you that way, but and it actually is that way, but it's kind of, you know, it's a little move that I would teach guys. I would teach them. I say, hey, this is what you got to do. You do this. You grab them here, arm over. It looked like you holding them. I mean, it looked like they're holding you, but you holding them. And referee it's guaranteed the referee will call you. Guaranteed. And another thing, a lot of these guys they don't understand is that you get the referee on the line. He's calling just the line. You get the referee back here. He's going to be making a call. So that's the referee. When you do this move, you got to make sure this referee see it. The one down the field, the one on the line. No, he's not looking at you. And see, a lot of guys they don't understand that either. There's a guy down the line down there. You know that, right? Because they don't know that.
Yeah. So the last two things here. Our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. He's a former NFL coach. We're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe, the kids stay safe. It's still horrible out there what we're seeing with human trafficking, so we're trying to prevent that. So we'll send you the foundation. You can go check it out.
Okay. Yes.
And the last, And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and all the essential workers right now?
Well, you know, I would just like to say, you know, thank you for all that you're doing for all the people across the country, because we wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for, you know, if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
And I know it's a big sacrifice for you and your families, you know, when this pandemic first hit, and now as well. But yeah, I wish that, you know, I wish that they could, you know, send you guys on a trip somewhere, and just they can just get a whole cruise ship and just send different people on a cruise ship just out, you know, and let them go somewhere and just and have fun once we get this whole thing under control.
Yeah. So,
I just like to thank you, and I really appreciate your help.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and they deserve a pay raise too.
Yeah.
And before we close this out, would you like to plug anything where our fans can find you on social media?
Oh well, yeah, you can find me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and you know, and what's the other one?
Twitter.
And Twitter, yeah, and Twitter. So I'm on there. You know, it's under Kerry Glenn. There you get to see me and my life. That's my life. My life is you know, I got my grandkids. Granddaughter, she's 7 months.
Wow.
I got a grandson. He's 6. He'll be 7. It's coming April. And my son, he's in the catering business, and he's been doing very well, you know, through the pandemic and things like that. So, but yeah, that's what it is. I just give a shout out to my family and you know, and rest of my sisters and brothers. We normally have a Zoom meeting every week. So, you know, my family is all over the world, actually, because my older brother lives in Germany.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been there for pretty much almost half his life. Yeah, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to thank you for having me on your show. Anytime you need me to come back, I'll be back.
Definitely, yeah. So I just want to say thank you for joining. This wraps up episode 998. So I just want to say thank you to our fans for tuning in and asking questions also for Kerry Glenn. And what a great career. Former Minnesota, New York Jets, Miami Dolphins defensive back, a track star, a punter too, running back, everything, jack of all trades. So go follow on all social media formats. And thank you again, man. Like I said, we would love to have you back on the show down the line, so you can meet the full team. But man, keep up the great work, and thank you again.
Yes, thank you. And like I said, I would love to meet your team. And just tell them whenever you guys want me on, just give me a call, because I at my place, I'll be here at the condo or either in Chicago.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys, thank you. You have a good evening.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.